So welcome to another video here on my channel. Make sure to subscribe and like, because there's lots of space videos right now outside and I feel like there's so much things happen that we need to talk about. But today's video is very special because I actually created a new revenue model which can then create the valuation on space for next year. Why next year? Next year the operations really will start, okay? We will have the operations ready for usage of many hundreds of astronauts, because we have the end of the test flight program this year, as well as some other flights within the test flight program like the Italian Air Force, and then we have the maintenance of the whole fleet to be ready to fly. And exactly this is the most important thing, guys, okay? There is a very hard opportunity to create the valuation for a stock that doesn't really have revenue right now. So you just have, the facts like, okay, how is the market? How hard is it to get into the market? Who is the team? How much money they have in the bank? What is the brand value of the company? What would it cost if another company would start to do the same like Virgin Galactic? This kind of things influencing the valuation right now. But it's like, hard to go without any fundamentals. So that's why I created this, Excel file that I will, kind of maintain over the next couple of months to see, okay, where the stock could go. Because you guys out there ask me every now and then, what could be the stock price? What could be the stock price end of the year? And I hate to talk about the short-term goals, but sometimes I want to see, okay, let's say this and this happens, and lots have happened over the last couple of months, right? I mean, we have now the second spaceship. We know now what people are willing to pay for space travel, right? For space tourism, like Blue Origin just, auction one seat away for multi-million dollars. So you see here that there's this price power that those companies, when they pioneering in this kind of things, are having. And that's why I think that this is also important to do all of this into the model to see where we come from. But without further ado, let's dive in right now. Check out the link into the description, because this is where you can find this kind of Excel sheet in my masterclass. That's why it's really value to be inside there if you are a very an investor that is really engaged into a company that I really recommend to spend a little bit of money and get access. You will also get access lifetime for the Discord chat as well, with many very smart people inside. Now let's talk about this calculation here, okay? So this is for 2023, which is not really correct. It's actually for 22, right? Because I said that this should be something that could happen already next year, okay, as soon as they start. So here's the, let's say, kind of measurements that I have. The price per ticket, $600,000. Now you're saying, okay, you should calculate with 250, but that's not right, because first, we know there's a huge demand into the ticket prices, and then you also need to understand that they also told us in the earnings call that currently there is like this other part, the research part of this program, that also translate into about $600,000 revenue per seat. So in both ways, you have definitely, let's say at least for a couple of months, and here in my occasion it's for 1 year at least, that you have an average price per ticket of $600,000. For sure, some tickets will sell for $1 million, maybe for the first couple of flights, and some tickets will sell for $500 or $300,000 or something. But I think the average is great here with $600,000. Okay, then you have 6 passengers per flight, or you have a $3.6 million turnover per flight. Okay, this can be either space tourists or it can be, you know, some research, right? So, and we will know also in the Q2 how much they actually got from NASA. But I remember the one payload that they wanted to fly up was already 600,000. So if they send up 3 like they did in the last test flight, maybe that's already, you know, $1.8 million turnover, you know, which would be great. Now, I believe that each aircraft, and we have obviously 2 aircrafts, will be able to fly 4 times per month. I mean, with the upgrade, with the maintenance, with the modular, you know, way how they build the new spacecraft, I think 4 flights per month per aircraft is really proper. Maybe in the beginning of the year it will be just 2 per month, but some months it will be maybe even 8 per month, you know. So we never know until they will give us really concrete information, but I think something like this could be realistic over the first period of the first 12 months. So that would be 48 passengers per month if you just take all of this information together, right? So that would be somewhere about $28.8 million per month, all right, which would be great because, as you know, they are spending $60 million per quarter, or they have like a, you know, deficit of 60 or 66 million dollars per quarter. So this revenue would really be great, and maybe even already break even in the first year, which would be amazing, right? So 12 operational months and then yearly turnover of about, you know, a third of $1 billion, which would be great. Now, as you know, what I really love about the company is the gross profit margin. Now, it is about between 60 and 70, as mentioned by Shamas Palihapitiya a couple of times already. But I think with the ticket price of $600,000, you can easily say that the profit margin will increase to like 80 or 90, you know, depending on the real cost of the space flight. I think also over time the company will be much more, let's say, effective, right? More cost effective. The flights, as more flights you do, it's just the regular math, is that, you know, you really have this more efficiency that goes in each flight, and as more they have of this routine, as more they can bring down the costs down. All right, so then we have the yearly gross profit, which would be also amazing, and the total passengers per year of 576. Okay, I think that's really possible. As you know, they have more than 600 people already registered as astronauts, and they also have about, I think it was 2,000 more that actually want to do that at some point in time, which means they have years of people that want to go to space with Virgin Galactic. Now let's go to the fun part, okay? The fun part is actually that I took now the revenue and the very fundamental PS ratio of some different kind of companies to show you where the stock could be next year, all right? And we will have from, you know, very low to very high everything, all right? So here we go. So we have the AMC PS ratio. Why I took AMC? Because it's just this momentum and meme stock right now. So if space would fall into this category, an AMC has 24 PS ratio, though you have to imagine, AMC is obviously a totally different business, right? It's like a very capital intensive theater, non-technology business, while you have, space, high technology, almost software as a service, like profit margins and so on. So it's definitely different. So I think this is like on the lower end, but if this would be right, then we would have a stock price of about around $41 or a market cap of $8.3 billion. I know some people will say, well, this is already, we will cross that in just no time during the summer, and I really believe that too. So that's maybe one of the lower end. And then I looked up something else and researched the PS ratio of SpaceX. As you know, they are doing a really great job in space travel, and what Elon Musk and his team want to do is absolutely insane. And they actually are valued about $75 billion with a revenue of $2-3 billion. It's a private company, so the informations are not that, let's say, reliable. But however, if we have a PS ratio of 35, that would bring Virgin Galactic to a $12 billion company, which then put a $60 price tag on this stock. Now, on the other side, you have also this current space PS ratio of 800, which is, obviously very, very parabolic, because now you have, as I said in the very beginning of this video, you have the great valuation of space, because they did so many things in the past. So you cannot really take the little bit of revenue and then multiply that with a crazy PS. But if this would be any case, then maybe we would go up and have like a $280 billion market cap and $2,382 stock, which again is very unrealistic. So I think and we are coming now to the last one, which was also a software company, but a technology company, very, very unique in its services, Palantir, and they have like a PS ratio of 30, which would bring the space valuation to about $10 billion. Which would result in a $52 stock. Now, in the conclusion of this video, I want to show you really what I'm thinking about these numbers. So as you can see, it could be everything from $1,300 per share to $41 per share, right? So the question is, what is the real valuation? I believe it will be something in between, because first you can see that space over the last couple of weeks was this unbelievable momentum stock that, even with this kind of revenue that they have now, which is basically zero, to go on a valuation of $4, $5, $6, $7 billion. So can you imagine what the stock could do with the huge fundament that is coming now over the summer, with revenue, test flight program, Richard Branson flight? So you can see here that valuations can be very, very variable. Okay, it can be absolutely insane, it can be absolutely fundamental, but I think to just reduce space valuation on this kind of model is very, very naive, and that's why I think that you should take this plus the thing that I just said, and mix it all together. And I think that we could maybe reach, with a really an operation, maybe $100 stock. This is something that I really would love to see. Very nice, steady growth of the stock. Obviously, we will have volatility over the next couple of months. This is not something that goes away with the test flights, with news, and so on and so forth. So I think, in the end of the day, it will be somewhere in between. But I think that this is something that we are really looking forward to, at least me. So make sure to subscribe and like this video and share it with your space friends, because I think it gives you a little bit of a nice insight into what's coming up. But you always need to stay patient, obviously, because the stock market is for the patient people that really make the huge bucks, rather than those that are looking for short-term gains.